morning, my friends, and Happy New Year again. Wonderful to see you all. I wanted to share with you, when I was over the weekend, I was looking at, Gay was sharing a saying from Mary Oliver that I thought would be a wonderful way to open today. She says, pay attention, be amazed, tell everyone. So pay attention, be amazed, tell everyone. I just love that as a pay attention and then be amazed is really, to me, it was really about the loop of awareness. So give your attention, be amazed by what you're seeing and receiving, and then tell everyone. So express that, let that become love in action in the world. And the heart of what we do in these gatherings is move from fear to presence to connection. And my sense is that both a loop of awareness and love scoops give us the opportunity to not only fill our reservoirs with the deep nourishment of connection, but also to refresh, because our attention patterns, even as conscious as I know all of you are, our attention patterns get hijacked. You know, our eyeballs get hijacked by, ooh, look at that. Oh, look at that. And actually being able to choose where you're putting your attention is really at the heart of what we're doing. And I have found so many benefits from that, realizing after years of practicing that one, I actually can choose where I'm putting my attention, even if something really happens. I, by simply bringing my attention back to myself and noticing what's going on and then letting that shift, it actually restores my resourcefulness, my ability to respond. And so the practice has many benefits from continuing to practice other than just our times together. But I want you to notice, like, what's your baseline energy right now? And then I like to go, oh, at the end, I go, oh, I feel either more flow in me or I feel refreshed. But there's a tangible benefit from doing this practice. And the practice itself of loop of awareness is at its heart very, very simple. It's simply give attention to you and then give attention to what's going on outside of you. So in here and out there, and usually we get those two way out of balance. So it might be valuable for you to notice, where is my attention most of the time? Is it out, or is it more in? And just simply by shifting your attention, you can begin to bring that into balance so that you're able not only to respond to life, but you're able to receive the benefit of attention, that wonderful, wonderful nourishment. The other thing I was noticing, so if you're willing to, just as you're listening, give attention to how you're receiving my voice. So what happens in your body as you're listening? So that's another aspect of loop of awareness, is going, what actually happens inside me? And then when I'm giving my attention out, either by listening, by looking, or by turning my whole body towards something, then how do I experience that in my body? So when I give my attention to me, and then I notice, how am I experiencing focusing on myself? So for example, a lot of people, when they focus on themselves, they go, oh, I should be giving attention to others. It's selfish to think about me. Don't be so self-centered. Don't be selfish. Give all of your attention out there, because that's much better. But when we do that, we drain our reservoirs. And so there's not only nothing to give, but there's really no benefit to either of us. That was one of the first things that I really learned for myself when I was being a therapist and when I was in school learning, is that if I don't have any resources, I'm not of any benefit to anybody else. So that whole balance is part of what we're doing. The word that was coming to me also with Mary Oliver's quote, she says, pay attention. So for me, pay attention has more of a narrowing, and it has a little bit of sort of the villain comes in there like, come on, you pay attention and, get focused and do what you're supposed to do. And I really love giving attention. And you might experiment between the difference between paying attention out there and then paying attention to you, because it's almost always a what's wrong focus. And one of my big intentions for this new year is that we're able to give attention and then pay attention when it's important to do that. But that's usually in a very focused, got to do something, like whether it's threading a needle or making your way through traffic or having something unexpected happen, is when you want to pay attention. But your reservoir is added to by giving attention. And the word that came to me yesterday or the day before was regard. Just popped up in my mind. And so I looked it up. I like to look up words and see their etymology and, how people have used them. And regard is another way of saying pay attention or give attention, is regard. But I love the word regard. You might just say that to yourself and notice, like when someone says, give my regards, there's something that's just very rounded and contactful about the word regard. And when I looked it up, it has respect and affection. Gosh, and couldn't we use more of that? A combination of respect and affection with our attention. So I want to invite you to regard the other people on the call. And I'd like you to then give regarding your own inner state. And just notice what it's like to try on regard as a way of shifting your attention. And when I'm regarding, what I notice is that there's more of fluffing, like I'm fluffing a pillow. Regard feels more fluffy and rounded to me, and also like I'm gathering in something. Like if I'm hugging, a friend's child, that regard has that kind of roundedness and inclusion, which to me feels like a loop of awareness where I am, and a love scoop as well. So I'm gathering with my attention. So I love that, the whole regarding and using that as a way to shift your attention. So do that for a moment or so of regarding. And notice if you're feeling low on respect or low on affection. So most of our attention now between people is what's wrong and who has the power, and that kind of up-down power struggle. But what if I let regarding be my ground of contact, of I can actually create affection and respect inside myself. Like if I'm going to become affection, if I were going to let myself bodify affection, for me, it has a little bit of a wiggle in it. So see, when you're giving affection, just notice how your body likes to bodify, receive, and give affection. Because most of this stuff we do up in our heads, but for me, regard is a whole body experience. And so affection, for me, is also an opening. When I try on affection, there's a oh rather than oh. It's an opening and a widening. And then let yourself try on bodifying respect. Something that I see missing in a lot of our interactions with each other, and even just the civility that I grew up with. And there was a lot of there's a lot of repressive stuff about that, but the whole idea of you regard others as fellow citizens, and that kind of respect, your willingness to regard another person as equal, your willingness to see yourself as equal with others. So I want to invite you to let your attention go out with affection and come back to you with affection, and play with that some of, what am I sending affection to? Like there's some new plants out in the front of our house, and I feel this, oh, this kind of, with them. And that's my sense of affection. And then when you bring your attention to yourself, what's what's something in your body that you can bring affection to? Maybe some part of you, a feeling or something going on for you physically that you can give, yes, you can give your affection to. And you may notice the different ways that people are doing that. You can try that on for yourself. So love scoops, or you might try on a love scoop and see if that adds to your sense of affection for you. I like to do little wiggles, sort of touching wiggles that makes me feel like it's a little nudge, like, okay, you're okay. So let yourself play with that until you're having the experience of expanding your affection and expanding your respect. And notice how that can become this wonderful world, a world and word, regard. Regard. I'm sure there's probably a French origin for that word. So they're regarde. So, wonderful, wonderful. So the practice of loop of awareness, after playing with it for, 40 years now, I keep finding new elements of loop of awareness that expand my ability to be here. So it's not just being here, but being able to be here in action, to bring love into action in your world. And that's what I want to invite us into this year, especially. We're putting together not just love in action, but what allows us to have what I call love with a spine. When Gay and I first got together, I realized that I have all of this love to give, but my structures about whether I would overgive or whether I would let people sort of run over me, or I wouldn't say no, all of the things that come with having integrity, I was a little light on. So practicing integrity allowed me to have a structure for my love to have value, so that I wasn't just letting it spill out and not really letting other people know that I had a structure that allowed me to practice regard, respect, and affection. So what we're going to be doing, in addition to our practice of loop of awareness and love scoops, is to add in the integrity cards, playing with integrity cards. And that's what we're going to do in addition to our practice, instead of our Presence Connect play, although we still have that on the website for you to play with. So as we're getting ready to move into the integrity card, I'd like you to just take a moment to let your body respond to playing with regard and affection and respect. Just noticing, how would your body like to respond to all of that right now? So I find my breath deepening. I find myself slowing down. One of the ways that we don't get to give ourselves attention is if we speed up. So for me, the practice of looping and of love scoops allows me to savor. to slow down enough that I'm savoring, like, oh, here I am, and here you are. And as Kurt Vonnegut said with his harmonioids, the wonderful expression of the harmonioids is that one of them says, here I am, and the other says, I'm so glad. And isn't I'm so glad an expression of regard? I love that. So letting yourself, here I am. So what's your here I am today? Here I am. Here I am. It could be here I am or here I am, however it is for you. And then letting yourself shift into I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And really, if that were the only thing you ever communicated with people, that would sort of do it. Here I am. I'm so glad. So the card that came to me to share with you today, I'm going to hold it up here so that you can see it because we didn't put it in the chat today. We'll do that next time. This is a card from our integrity deck. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we have a deck called Impeccable, the integrity deck, that we've had for a few years. And what it really allows you to do is to integrate and embody different practices that are all doable so that you're creating new scaffolding, a new infrastructure inside that's big enough to hold all of your love, to hold all of your love and regard, and for you to be really smart about how you express it in the world. And so what was coming to me today with this conscious communication. So first, let yourself just look at the card if you can see it. Okay, here, let me get it. So there we go. And I'd like you to just let your body just notice how you respond to that, to the picture, because the collage itself can activate different parts of your brain. And then we have a sentence and a question. And so what I want to invite you to do is to close your eyes and listen to the sentence and then let your body respond. I listen to others accurately, appreciatively, and to invite wonder. So I'll say that once more so you can let yourself respond. I listen to others accurately, appreciatively, and to invite wonder. So what if all of your listening could evoke wonder, appreciation, and the sense of a person being heard? And here's the question. In what ways can I learn to speak that are free of blame and invite wonder? Woo! So that ought to keep you busy for a week or so. Coming to like an interaction, someone you're having a conversation with, whether it's the plumber, the person at the grocery store, or a friend that you're having some kind of a conflict with, letting yourself actively open up to listening accurately, appreciatively, and to invite wonder. That's really the heart to me of listening. And it also demonstrates regard. When I'm listening to someone so that I understand what they're saying, whether I agree. So listen, notice this doesn't say until you find the place where you agree. It's where you find the place where you can appreciate. And that is to give your sensitive awareness to. So it's not just, oh, that was great, rah, rah. It's really like being right there with somebody's experience so that they have that sense of someone being with. I'm with you. I'm here. I hear what you're saying, and that it invites their deeper presence. So I'd be really curious about what you discover. That would be a great thing to share in the group if you want to stay afterwards, or next time when you've been practicing this for a little bit, you can bring anything that you've been discovering, because my intention is that we ripple this all over the world over the next year, that we embody love with a spine so that we're reliable, and open, and accurate and curious, and that we can easily move from blame, either blaming ourselves and or blaming others, which is such a default right now. Like, if I can blame, I can always get up a great conversation. I notice on our Hearts in Harmony Facebook, people get up the best, comments when we say something and someone says immediately, "Oh, that's wrong. You're wrong about that. What are you?" And then the other people join in and they say, "No, she's wrong. No, she's right." And I go, "Wow, this is so interesting." And then right below that is a post that's really all about, love and action, and there are no comments on it at all. So I think our default position as a culture is to look for what's wrong. And so just expect that you may fall into that, or you certainly may see that as you're practicing in public. And you can then use your loop of awareness to come back to loving yourself for what you're experiencing, giving regard to others, and then you start the flow of connection again. So my sense is that there's no way to kind of do this wrong. If you're wanting to practice, simply shifting your attention will accomplish so much, and of really giving you more agency, more choice about where you put your attention, how you use your attention. So there we go. That's it for today. And love seeing your faces and your beings. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to take my leave now and look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah. Happy Big Talk. Bye now.